Hello everyone, my name is Toya Nell Bennett and I will be doing my comic book analysis on a story called Dandy Volume 1. Welcome to a Dandy World. The creative team of this comic book is written by Jazan Wild, pencils by David Miller, inks by Nick Skeely, colored by Matt Yaki. Actually, the length of this story is actually 203 pages, but I will tell you up top, do not let that intimidate you because it's a very good story, actually. And this is a genuine graphic novel. Alright, so the story is the protagonist Andrew, who lived with his father named Andrew Madison Drake. He taught him that to never let anyone get in his heart. So that was until one day all that changed. His father was arrested for embezzlement, and they left the kid with no one to be raised by except when he was an orphanage. So when his father got arrested, the government seized everything he had. So he ended up being raised as an orphanage, like I say, by a man named King. Therefore, the rich lifestyle that he was used to was no longer what he had anymore. So the goal for Andrew was to reach his dreams as a musician and to tune out any distraction that could hinder his growth. But the man who took him in, which is King, was the same man that's the antagonist, and he knew who he was and he knew who his father was, so he knew that he had a lot of money, and he was really after Andrew's inheritance. Okay, so then one night, when Andrew was asleep, he tuned in some music that he heard when he was asleep. So he was actually led by this music, and it was led to a club called Crazy Club, and he discovered that this place was very, very special, and he was only able to hear tunes because he had an ear to listen. The musician name was named Crazy. He was introduced to him that this is a place that he can help him realize to reach his dreams. And so overall, despite that he was an orphanage by the name Andrew, but he actually got the name Danny by being at the club. Crazy Club is night of as being able to be the music of the night. I would say that his character flaw is that he was just really quick to listen to anyone. But I think what saved him was to listen to the other musician named Crazy, so that he could be able to discover what his purpose really was, and that was music. And so the musician taught him, the musician named Crazy, taught him that there's a dandy world out there, and so humming tunes and listening to music and dancing to music was a way to give him hope and to be able to be a great performer as a musician. Alright, so yes, this story does have a story arc. It does have a clear beginning, middle, and end. And the resolution of the story, is it satisfactory? Yes and no. I'm going to tell you why. Well, I say that it has a solid story arc because it does point out that okay, he was an orphanage, and that was something that he had to deal with the process of losing his dad, having to go to jail, and from when discovering who he really is to him being fully grown, knowing that he needs to listen to the crazy about how he was able to learn that it's important to tune out all the noise and all the things that would distract you to get to where you really want to be in life. So that's the thing that I did like about it. Now at the end, I won't say what the end is because I don't want to reveal too much, but it is a twist at the end, and I believe that it could have been a bit more not cliche, but I didn't really see it coming because it had me pulled in the whole time I was reading the story. So that's what I believe. But as I can say, on page 1 through 74, I would say that will be where Act 1 begins at. And I say that because that's when Dandy realized that after years of coming to the Crazy Club, that his the musician Crazy was not there, no longer there, because he had moved on. And so he just held on to what he was taught by Crazy, so that he could be able to be a very successful musician. So it moves into Act 2 that he's fully grown. He has accomplished a lot of money being a musician, and he is living that lifestyle, fame and fortune. But it becomes a problem because the man named King ends up actually wiring money and getting money from his accounts, and that goes to show that that's something that Danny had lacked, because he didn't really pay attention to a lot of things that was going on around him like he should. And yeah, so he was very successful, but he had a lack of being able to pay attention to what was very important. Okay, so in Act 3, I would say that begin on page 167, and I say that because after him, like, going through what he went through, he ended up actually having that girlfriend that he was with named Diamond, and she ended up being jealous of him being able to like another girl named Scarlett. And the reason why, because she started seeing that he was interested in somebody else, and so she lied on Danny, talking about that he was doing drug possession, and it led him to going to jail. So it got him to a point where he was in a low point of his life, and he had to come back to the remembrance of what he was taught by Crazy, which was to always hum to the music and to tune out things that are gonna hinder you. And I keep saying it because that's really the whole lesson of the story. And yeah, that's it. In this scene, this is the moment-to-moment transition. Is when, of course, something moves or changes slightly over a small period of time. So, as Andrew and his father was getting out the vehicle to go into the house, there were maids there would be assisting him, and he was telling him that don't let a woman get in his ear or in his heart. And he faced his son telling him that in the process of a woman actually trying to get in his ear or in his heart. Okay, so in this scene is the action to action. This is where he was discovering the tune that he was listening to. And when he walked into the Crazy Club, this shows as he gets closer, he's about to turn the knob to go into there so he can see what happens next. Okay, so in this scene, this is the subject to subject transition, in which, of course, the subject changes while the character is still in the same scene. So we see that Andrew is at a place where he's actually performing his acts, but the subject changes when he sees that someone is trying to get his attention, and he sees that it is his father. And as you continue to read the story, he's very upset at this point because he feels like his dad abandoned him at a very bad time of his life. This is the scene to scene transition, in which we all know that this is the part where the reader is significant of seeing the distance of time and space. So we see that Andrew was just leaving, dining with the girl that he really, really loves, which is Scarlett. But he's really thinking about Scarlett, but he's really thinking about not being with the current girl that he's with. So the transition is that he's there, but he's about to leave, and he really doesn't want to go because he really wants to be with Scarlett. All right, so this is a aspect to aspect transition, and I believe that it is. I could be wrong, but I believe that it is because it sets a different wandering out on the place idea in mood, because the mood is that he's excited to go into the crazy club, and then he discovers that it's not what he expects, so he changes the mood, and when he opens the box, it's something that he's not expecting. So this is what I believe is the aspect transition. All right, so yes, I do believe that this story does have effect of directional flow because Scott McCloud does address the idea, the purpose, the form, the idiom, the structure, craft, and the service of how all aspects of comics have the potential of self-expression. So in these previous comics that I'm showing right now has the example of that as well, because we can see that Andrew is showing his expression of how he is now living as an orphan from being able to live a rich lifestyle, and then we see different other aspects of his situations as he gets older as a famous musician. Alright, you guys, so yes, I probably would recommend this to my classmates because it not only shows the negative effects of fame and fortune, but it also adds that if anyone wants to do anything they dream about doing, they can do it, and I think this is a very, very prime example of showing the internal and the external of what a character goes through to be able to reach their goal. I also would recommend this to friends. My friends, they'll probably read this, and I think they'll be inspired because I'm a very positive person anyway, so they know that this is probably something they'd be interested in. And I have to write this one down, y'all. So I put that I observed from this reading is that the story has a few necessary splash pages that helps understand the character's intentions. So a lot of the times, when we reading the comic books, splash pages shows, the overall picture of the scene, and then it also shows like a smaller panel inside of the comic book to show that the character's expression. So I thought that was really cool, and it showed a lot of that throughout the whole entire comic book, and I think that was the whole point that it was trying to make. And a fun fact that I found, I didn't really find too much about it, but that it has credits to Carnival Comics. So there are many more other books that are related in this genre. So this story is based on a magical series, and there are other links to this story that are in the Carnival Comics that you can actually read based on this type of series. So I hope this was very uplifting, inspiring some kind of way, and interesting in some kind of way too. So thank you so much for watching, and I thank you for your time. Be blessed.